session and executive sessions of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, also sitting as all special taxing districts, June 23rd, 2025, 9 a.m. Board members will attend either in person, by telephone, or remotely via electronic conferencing. We're all here. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll move on to call to the public. Call to the public is held for the public benefit to allow individuals to address issues within the board's jurisdiction. The board members may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comments will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or scheduling the matter for further discussion and decision at a future date. Public comments may be made in person or submitted by email at publiccomments@yumacountyaz.gov. The email forms of public comments will be accepted until 8 a.m. in the morning of the meeting. All public comments will be read out loud during the Yuma County Board of Supervisors meeting that starts at 9 a.m. Desiree, do we have any emails?
No, we do not.
Oh. I do have a speaker form. Diana Gomez.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Diana Gomez, Chief Health Officer. Good morning. I wanted to come here and highlight a program, partnership that we have with the Humane Society. So this past Saturday, we co-sponsored a microchipping clinic. And as you all know, the 4th of July holiday is coming up, and that's a time when the fireworks, I know people enjoy the fireworks. For pets, it could be really scary and traumatic, and a lot of them run away. So in an effort to curb pets just going into the shelter that maybe don't need to be there, and to empower the public to help, you see those forums where people find pets and they want to know how to help. So what we did was we partnered with the Humane Society, and the City of Yuma is partnering as well, and we got these microchip scanners. So if your dog is microchipped, you can use this scanner. Microchips are permanent, they're painless, and they last the duration of your pet's life. So it's a permanent ID for them. So what we did by partnering is we expanded them. They will be available prior to the 4th of July at all rural metro locations. And the City of Yuma is going to expand them to the fire station locations. So what you do is there's also other locations throughout the county, and you can see those in the city by going through the Humane Society website. So what you do is normally the microchip is implanted between the shoulder blades of the dog. So you want to scan really slowly. You go to one of these locations in an S shape twice, and just really slowly move it up and forth, and it'll pop up the identification number. This is the way to safely reunite pets. So the first clinic was this Saturday, and they did 55 in the first hour, so there's a demand. And the second clinic, for anybody that's interested, again, completely free, dogs or cats, is going to be Saturday, June 28th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the John Morris Cottage by Carver Park. And the address on that is 385 South 13th Avenue. So again, free microchipping, there's no fee for you. And again, if you find yourself in that circumstance where your pet runs away, maybe somebody can find it and help reunite them with you.
That's wonderful.
Take some pressure
I
off.
have my dog microchipped through the Humane Society, and it.
We just didn't want cost to be a barrier to anyone. So
That's
again,
right.
please go if you have an opportunity, and it's free.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks,
That
Diana.
is so cool.
Anybody else from the public that wishes to address the board may do so. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board, and we'll move on to presentations, proclamations, and appointments. Is there any appointments?
No, I have
No.
appointments.
Move on to item number 1, presentation of the Yuma County Quarterly Safety Excellence Award. And we have Yesenia and Carlos.
Good morning, Chairman Porteous and members of the board. My name is Yesenia McCormick, and I am a risk management specialist with the Risk Management Division. Here at Yuma County, safety isn't just a priority. It's a commitment that we honor and celebrate. We are dedicated to providing a secure and healthy environment for our employees and the public. Our team members' dedication and innovative thinking are truly the driving force behind the success of Yuma County and the Superior Court. To honor those who consistently promote safety in the workplace, Yuma County has established the Safety Excellence Award. Any employee can nominate a colleague for this esteemed recognition. All nominees receive a certificate of achievement, goodie bag, and are recognized in our UCount newsletter. Nominations are reviewed by the Safety Committee, and a final winner is selected. The winner of the Safety Excellence Award also receives an Arctic USafe tumbler and a $100 check. These quarterly winners are then automatically entered for consideration for the annual Safety Excellence Award, where the ultimate winner receives a $250 check. To introduce this quarter's nominees, I'd like to welcome Safety and Security Coordinator Carlos Marquez.
Hello, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going? My name is Carlos Marquez, Safety and Security Coordinator for Yuma County. Good morning, Chairman Porteous, members of the board. And I am here delighted and to commend the outstanding nominees for the Safety Excellence Award for the first quarter of 2025 and to unveil a deserving winner. Today, we have the privilege of acknowledging 5 exceptional employees who have been nominated for their dedication to safety from January to March of 2025. A big thank you to those individuals who nominated them. Your contributions truly make a difference in our safety culture. And to the nominees, please stand as I announce your name for a well-deserved recognition. All right. First up, we got Tyler Raborn, works at adult probation as a surveillance with just under a year of service for Yuma County. On Saturday, February 8th, while on duty, surveillance officer Tyler Raborn witnessed a vehicle accident in the community. He immediately took action, dispatching emergency services, ensuring the safety of both drivers, and providing first aid to an injured individual until emergency responders arrived. Tyler's quick response reflected a strong awareness, calm under pressure, and effective application of county and departmental training in emergency situations. His actions directly supported the community, law enforcement, and emergency personnel during a critical moment. Throughout the incident, Tyler remained composed, vigilant, and committed to the safety protocols and values we uphold at the county. His ability to assess the situation clearly and communicate clear information to dispatch allowed resources to be deployed without delay. Tyler's actions set a powerful example to his peers and exemplify adult probation's mission to serve and protect our community. Thank you, Tyler. Next up, we have Beto Borges. Also works at adult probation as a surveillance officer with over 26 years of service for Yuma County.
Where's Beto?
We're going to take this back to 2024. So on September 11th, 2024, surveillance officer Borges demonstrated quick thinking and decisive actions when he witnessed a car accident while conducting a visit with a probationer. As he approached the residence, he heard the screech of brakes followed by a child's cry. Upon investigating, he saw a young boy riding a scooter had been struck by a vehicle. Without hesitation, S.O. Borges ran to the scene and immediately radioed for emergency assistance and provided reassurance to the child, telling him to hang in there, while checking for visible injuries and ensuring the driver was also safe. He remained on the scene, offering calm and steady support while YPD and Yuma Fire arrived. S.O. Borges' swift response reflected his strong situational awareness, training, and commitment to public safety. His actions helped ensure the well-being of everyone involved and enabled a rapid emergency response. S.O. Borges' actions exemplify the values of professionalism, compassion, and service that define adult probation. Thank you. Thank you, S.O. Borges. Next up, we have Crystal Valenzuela, works at the Health District WIC Division as a WIC Administrative Assistant with 2 years of service for Yuma County. During recent construction, a main exit and assembly area were temporarily closed, creating potential confusion in the event of an emergency evacuation. Crystal developed and implemented a training plan on the new evacuation routes, personally walked staff through the changes, and ensured clear communication, especially for team members from other clinics unfamiliar with the updates. Crystal's attention to detail and quick action minimized confusion and helped ensure a safe evacuation process. Her ongoing commitment to safety is evident in other situations as well. For instance, when she immediately addressed a water leak hazard by reporting it to the safety officer, marking the area, and alerted staff of the slip hazard. Her quick thinking helped prevent a potential accident. Crystal is consistently proactive in identifying and reporting potential hazards, ensuring they are addressed promptly and effectively. As an active member of the Department Safety Committee, Crystal regularly shares updates, ensures timely reporting and follow-up, and models safe practices for her team. Her leadership and dedication makes her a trusted advocate for workplace safety. Thank you, Crystal. Next up, we have Teresa Piedra, is a chief clerk at Welton Justin Court with 18 years of service for Yuma County. Teresa has led a significant safety improvements at the Welton Justice Court by addressing risk associated with cluttered filing areas and improperly stored files. She introduced a standardized filing labeling system, making it easier to identify, retrieve, and manage case files while reducing errors and the risk of injury. She also reorganized the filing room, ensuring heavy items are stored at lower shelves and clearly labeling drawers for efficiently and safely. These changes have improved workflow, reduced injury risk, support compliance, and retention guidelines. As safety officer, Teresa consistently demonstrates proactive approach. She regularly collaborates with court security and law enforcement, shares safety resources with staff, and leads by example. From establishing safer self-serve procedures for defendants to sending regular safety reminders, she promotes a strong safety culture throughout the court. Teresa's leadership fosters a safer, more organized, and efficient work environment, making safety a shared priority across her team. Thank you, Teresa. And finally, Jesus Salazar, a senior waste technician at Public Works with 5 years of service for Yuma County. Jesus Salazar has played a key role in strengthening a culture of safety through his consistent reporting of unsafe conditions and proactive communication. His vigilance has led to more frequent safety inspections and timely corrective actions, helping prevent injuries, property damage, and disruptions. At the waste tire facility, Jesus ensures vendors follow safety protocols, reinforcing a safe environment for both staff and external partners. His commitment to safety is evident in his regular coordination with both his supervisor and safety specialist, improving communication, transparency, and responsiveness to potential hazards. By leading through example, his actions show not only attentiveness to detail, but also a genuine concern for the well-being of his coworkers. Jesus has inspired his peers to stay alert and take ownership of workplace safety. His actions foster a culture of shared responsibility and accountability that benefits his entire team. Again, thank you, Jesus. And now, with exceptional nominees, choosing a winner was a challenging task for the Safety Committee. However, after careful consideration, we have made our selection. I am delighted to announce the recipient for the Safety Excellence Award for the first quarter of 2025 calendar year. Please join me in congratulating Crystal Valenzuela.
Must be from the health district.
Photo.
Come on
Photo
up.
up, photo up. Come up. Yes.
Yes, we'll stand behind them.
Just have them all come up.
Come on, come up and line up. Be careful with the German.
All right. Thank you. Scoot over, you're too far away. There we go.
Make sure you don't spend it all in one place, huh?
All were very deserving nominees.
Okay.
Congratulations, everyone.
Why are they leaving? They got to work?
They didn't tell you got to stay for the whole meeting once you win.
We're good? Thank you. All right, thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks, guys.
We'll move on to item number 2, update on the preparations for the July 15, 2025 special primary elections for Arizona 7th Congressional District by Election Service and the Recorder's Office. And we have with us the Recorder Avilara. If you want to elected officials first, and We're also, Kika Guzman is here with us, and morning, David.
Good morning. Chairman, members, good morning. I am sure you're all glad to see me.
Definitely.
Yes, I'm glad to see you. Anyway, just a quick update here on the election, which is, this is my first election, so it's kind of a learning experience. I'm learning. I guess you never finish learning, but it's interesting, and I'm hungry. So far, we've mailed out 27,000, I'm just giving you a round number, 27,000 ballots. Out of those, 27,106 are the UACAVA, which is the overseas, out of the country people. The numbers that we have estimated for the cost for the primary is $74,000. And right now, as of today, we have 63 ballots that have returned and 14 people in person. Usually in the primaries, it's not a lot of action. We're trying to bump up those numbers, but we will see. Other than that, I don't see any unpleasant surprises, so everything looks pretty smooth.
Anything that we can help you with, or, I mean, or coordinate with other?
Everything is moving smoothly. I don't see anything right now that will cause any problems. So actually, everything's pretty good. It should stay that way through the general.
I got mine down.
Good.
Facilities, if anything with the buildings or signs or that facilities or IT even that can help you with?
At the moment, like I said, usually the primaries are very low turnout. There's very low action. That is something I have been trying to work on, going on media, and I'm trying to bump up those numbers. For some reason, people just don't think that primary is as important as the general. I'm working on it. Hopefully, I can bring those numbers up. Because it's quiet and slow, everything is just fine right now.
In anticipation for the general, Mr. Chairman, what can we do?
I mean, well, I think he'll learn,
Right.
or this election, whatever he needs or that he can think for the.
Exactly. The other thing is, because on this special election, it's only half of Yuma. It's not all of Yuma. So there's not going to be that much action. So this is actually a good, I guess, a tune-up election for next year. We do have a special election in November, but I think this, because it's only half of Yuma for CD7, it is slow, where it gives at least me a good practice run, and it'll be just perfect to set up for next year. So right now, everything is smooth
All right.
for now.
Thank you,
Any other
David.
questions? All good?
Thank you. Thanks for
Perfect.
the update.
Thank you. You got it.
Appreciate that. We have Kika Guzman, Elections Director. Morning.
Kika Guzman, the Election Services Director. I do have a presentation. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update from the Election Services Division for the upcoming special election. As you know, the special election was called by the Arizona governor to fill the vacancy of the late Congressman Raul Grijalva. The primary election was called July 15th, and the general election was called September 23rd. A few key dates have passed, deadlines have passed, including the candidate filing period and the challenge period. The deadline to file as a write-in candidate also passed, which was June 5th. The Board of Supervisors approved the proposed vote centers on May 5th. However, after a few of the available locations and voter trends in consideration of our vote center model, we are proposing revised voting locations to be approved. This is an agenda item for your consideration today. We are requesting removing the Foothills Library, which is outside the CD7 boundaries, and we feel we can accommodate voters traveling outside the boundaries as in the approved AWC site. In addition, we would like to add the additional site in the San Luis area, well-known location used often in the past at the Cesar Chavez location. We would also like to replace the Somerton Library site with the Somerton Community Center. It is a larger space, and we had preferred that location, but were previously unable to secure it with the city of Somerton. We have worked with the city of Somerton staff who was able to recently confirm the availability, and we're excited to use that location. Again, voters may appear at any of the approved vote center sites, as we have the model of vote centers. The Secretary of State was on site on June 12th to conduct the required logic and accuracy testing. The test, they tested the database on the ballot marking devices for the use of both early voting and election day, tabulars for early voting ballots, as well as those being deployed for election day. Party representatives were present for the entire test. We passed and received our certification for the special primary election.
Good.
Okay. Okay, you approved our election workers on May 19th. We are utilizing 84 election workers at the various vote center locations and a total of 9 early board members who worked throughout multiple days before and after election to process the early ballots for tabulation. Training began on June 3rd, and we were just finishing up with all trainings, which include workers assigned to poll pads, ballot printers, our ballot marking devices, our provisional station, and also includes our inspector and marshals. The early board is scheduled to begin on June 26th, and their schedule is dependent on the volume of ballots coming in. We are grateful for the wonderful election workers in Yuma County has and appreciate their hard work. Special elections are unique. Not only are they normal at an unexpected time in the year, they often are special districts, which is the case here. We are focused on working with the communications team to regularly distribute information about the upcoming election in both English and Spanish throughout local media as well as local social media. The most current election information and will be available at the top banner of our website, Yuma County website. Also is going to be in English and Spanish. We have deployed signage to be placed at any location previously used as a vote center to quickly make people aware of where the approved sites are. We also are placing signage at the vote center locations to be clear that that is a CD7 only election, and only voters in that district are eligible to cast a ballot. Bless you. A what to expect information is being developed, to be shared with the entire community as the election day approaches, to let the people know when results will be available and the information on the post-election day activities as the tabulation is complete. I will be back to share updated information at your regular board meeting before our canvass. I can answer any questions that you may have.
Do you feel like you're prepared? Do you need anything else for this election?
We're prepared. It is a smaller election, again, compared to 2024, yes.
Kika, how old is the equipment that we have?
We purchased the equipment in 2018.
So 7 years, going on 7 years? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, prior to that, how old was the other equipment? What's the lifespan of equipment generally?
About 10 years. So I have gotten quotes to get our poll pads to get updated, and then I will be getting quotes for the next equipment as well for us to go in with 2026 new equipment.
Do you anticipate 2026 needing that much? Do you have an estimated cost?
Not at this moment, but I can get back.
Around about $1 million?
Yeah, close to that.
I'm gonna try to get you $1 million. Just kidding.
Give her a debit card.
So you want to buy more equipment or just replace them?
Replacing more equipment.
Replace and more, okay. That will speed up the counting and all that.
Correct.
Getting back the results faster. A question for the voting centers.
Yes.
When we do signs, do they have to be just for that day of voting, can we put like, because I was thinking, well, even Martin Luther King, certain buildings that you can put like a banner or those feather flags that say, I see them a lot, the barbershops use them a lot.
Like vote here or?
You know, like, put on right next to the sidewalk where people drive by and they see and they, okay,
It's
vote
the big
here.
bandera,
Yeah,
the
like
tall one?
those tall ones.
Yeah.
I don't know if
The ones that go like
we're
this.
allowed to do that, or does it have to be within the 75 feet, or,
Advertise for our vote center, we can.
okay. Yeah. I think that would at least remind people, you know, that like in Somerton, the community center, yeah, you're able to see it, but if we don't have a sign by the road that says, you know, voting center here, I think it just reminds people, oh, today, you know, you vote, and they can swing by there, and I imagine on pretty much on all of them where there's a major street or arterial that goes close by there. I think that would be something to attract more voters or remind them.
Remind them, okay.
Yeah.
The San Luis Cultural Center, San Luis, right there on the main drag, yeah, that would be it.
Any other questions for Kika? No. So we'll approve those two changes today, or do we?
Yes, we do have them on the board today.
Okay. Thank you, Kika.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving to item number 3, presentation of customer service, the core of our mission, produced by Yuma 77, the Yuma County Government Channel.
Mr. Chairman, good morning. Just a quick intro to the video. This is a special presentation in lieu of the mix and El Condado Informado. It's called, as you mentioned, customer service, the core of our mission. And the idea for this video came out of a conversation I had with Vice Chairman Lyons. We were talking about what the core mission of local government is. And Supervisor Lyons followed up that conversation with some points, some main points. And I thought, well, this could be a good idea for a video. Roughed out a script, sent it to our amazing communications team, and they did what they do. And the result is this 3-minute video. So take it away.
Okay.
In local government, we don't sell products. We don't chase profit. We serve people. No matter your department, customer service isn't just part of your job, it is the job. We work for our taxpayers. Every government paycheck is funded by taxpayers, homeowners, farmers, business owners, retirees. We are stewards of their trust. Every phone call, every walk-in, every question. It's an opportunity to earn that trust through respect and professionalism.
2026 shows you the full cash value here.
Okay. That's not just good service, that's public trust in action. Our legacy is how we treat people. Codes and infrastructure are important, but they're not our legacy. The way we treat people is.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet me. That clears it up. Thank you very much.
When we take the time to listen, explain, and help, we turn frustration into confidence. You may be the only government someone ever meets. To a resident, there's no distinction between departments. You are the government. How you serve shapes how they view public service as a whole. A small act can leave a big impression. That kind of care speaks volumes.
Appreciate your call. Thank you.
The public notices the small things. It's not just what we do, it's how we do it. A warm greeting, a respectful tone, a prompt follow-up. Those little moments, they're often what residents remember most. Service is the standard that outlasts policy. Budgets change, leadership changes, but great service, that endures. Years from now, most people won't remember the policies, but they'll remember how they were treated. Let's make that memory a good one. Customer service builds civic unity. In a time of division, kindness and professionalism matter more than ever. Every respectful conversation helps build a stronger, more connected community. Public service is a public trust. We exist because of the people we serve. They fund our work. They deserve our best. So wherever you work, whether it's permits or potholes, serve with pride, serve with purpose. Because customer service isn't just what we do, it's who we are.
Oh, I like that. Good job, Jonathan.
Morgan Freeman wasn't available for voiceover? Just checking. I know we have a
We'll be sending
budget.
that out to every employee and incorporating that into our new hire orientation and getting it into the rotation on Channel 77. So.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
That was nice, yes.
That is nice.
George Clooney and Brad Pitt. Other than that,
I did see Tony there on the,
Background.
on the
Did we have-
first, about 40 years ago. And,
you
Did we have some paid actors?
I didn't check to
Nice,
see if
that
he had
was-
any hair.
That's not nice.
well,
I saw you smiling with
that
the
was
mayor,
good.
which was
That
good.
That was good.
Very.
All right, moving on to consent calendar. The following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion with no separate discussion unless a board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action.
I have a couple of items I'd like to talk about quickly. 17 and 18.
17 and 18, and we have items 1 through 20.
I'll
I'd
make a
like
motion.
7,
You want 7?
please.
I'll make a motion, we approve the items, the consent items 1 to 20 with the exception of 7, 17, and 18.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve items 1 through 20, except with the exceptions of 7, 17, and 18. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I serve on the Yuma County, YPIC, which is now Arizona at Work. And this is the Yuma County Local Workforce Development Board. And I would just like to thank Carlos Gonzalez, Sandra Navarrete, Antonio Zuinga, and Daniel Core for being willing to serve and be reappointed to that board, and Samuel Lovelace for his one year term as well. So that's all. And with that, I move that we approve item number 7.
Second.
Question before you
Yes.
vote on it. Is Daniel Core the core I'm thinking about? The
Yes, he
AWC?
is.
AWC?
Yes, he's from AWC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna
He
make sure.
serves on the, yes. And he's very vocal and on the meetings, in the meetings and very involved, so.
All
Okay,
right.
I move that we approve it. Number 7,
I seconded it.
okay.
There's a motion and a second to approve item number 7 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 17.
You know, I'd like to take item number 17 because it's before item 18. But I was under the impression we couldn't do contracts beyond a certain amount of time. This one is a 5-year, sort of like a 3-year plus 2, which I guess wasn't clear by legal, right? Because I thought we couldn't saddle the next board with appointments that go beyond our term. So what is it okay with legal? This one is a 5-year, and the other one's a 10-year laser purchase, which I'll get into in a minute. But that's a long time to be saddled with a contract.
Mr. Chairman, there's nothing wrong with the term on this.
Right. Well, that's a new one for me, so I just wanted to make sure that I was in the clear of it. 17 is a 3-year contract with, I suppose, Chase Bank to provide us with banking services, plus a 2-year possible agreement, which makes it a 5-year. So I'll make a motion, we accept that based on legal.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve item number 17 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 18.
18. This one is a little more dicey for me because it's a 10-year agreement that purchases equipment from a same enterprise for over $1 million. Now, that to me is a long-term, 10-year agreement is a long time. I had the same question, but I hope, do I get the same answer?
Payback.
It's okay? Because if this is laser equipment, this is the sheriff's office, and we don't have much to do with it, but I really feel uncomfortable sattling not only one, but two boards with this purchase.
Probably the maintenance though, isn't it?
Mhm.
Is it? Purchase of laser equipment and support services. Maybe.
If I can answer any questions, I'd be happy to.
Definitely.
The TASER contract, good morning, Major Bratcher from the Sheriff's Office, and thank you for the opportunity. The TASER contract is a new one for us too. They have changed their business model. Instead of buying equipment and then owning it and replacing it when it wears out, they have switched to a subscription model. And so we don't necessarily own the equipment any longer, but we're tied into the subscription, like a lot of other companies, computer software, et cetera, have gone to. And that's why the length of the contract is the way it is.
I get that, but it kind of ties you up with them for 10 years. I mean, if you had put in there instead of a purchasing agreement, a service agreement, I would have kind of felt, okay, well, you're sort of, I mean, there has to be some, I haven't seen the contract, but it must have some sort of exit, 30-day notice, something like that.
There is language that would allow us to opt out if funding, for example, is no longer available or an alternative. As it stands right now, there is no alternative. There is no substitute for the less lethal option of TASER.
I just wanted to make sure that we get into an agreement that can be broken if we don't feel they're providing the service they are provided. I mean, we do that with Microsoft, we do that with a lot of suppliers that supply us with services. It's just, this one stood up because of a 10-year agreement. It's a purchasing agreement, that's what it says. So I kind of thought, okay, well, are we gonna be tied into this particular company? What if they bankrupt 3 years from now, 45 years from now? I suppose that there's an exit language in there that says, if something happens, we are free to go and look for somebody else, right?
So I will say that the county attorney has reviewed and approved the contract for that content, and that is standard in all of our contracts.
Right. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Brad.
Thank you.
Anything else? No?
Wanted to make sure,
I'll second it.
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and approve the purchasing agreement.
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second to approve item 18 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to,
We appointed someone to the government board. I think that's it.
I'll go ahead and recess the Yuma County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Yuma County Housing Board. And now called on.
She didn't show up?
Yeah, I think she's here.
I'm just gonna breathe down Lynn's neck real quick.
Yeah.
Martha?
I'll call Martha Caballero Nares to the dais.
You gotta come up here, because we got a little tag for you.
Oh, she's not.
She's not here?
Oh, she's not here?
No, no wonder. Well,
We
I
want,
didn't know her.
is she
so-
coming?
Is she on her way? You want to come back to this? No, she won't be coming. So it's like, she called it right now.
Okay. Do we?
No, we don't. We have a
We don't need. We have a quorum for. Okay.
This is a consent calendar, so.
So we'll move on to the consent calendar, Housing Governing Board consent calendar. The following items listed under the consent agenda will be considered as a group and acted by one motion with no separate discussion unless the board member so requests. In that event, the item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate discussion and action. And I have item just one, housing, adopt resolution number 2025-17.
Motion to approve item number 2025-17.
I'll second it with the question of what type of bad debt is it? Is it just accounts that we haven't been able to collect on? Rental accounts?
More than 6 months old.
Okay.
They're no longer residents of our housing.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second to approve, adopt resolution number 2025-17. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. adjourn the Yuma County Housing Board and reconvene the Yuma County Board of Supervisors in regular session. Moving on to discussion and action item. Item number 1, financial service and county administration. Presentation and update on current ARPA projects, allocation and status.
Tony's favorite, a PowerPoint.
There's a PowerPoint.
Ooh. A lot of stuff on it too, yeah.
Busy PowerPoint.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the board, County Administrator. This will not be a PowerPoint, but it's still a presentation. We're going to be sharing with you 2 tabs. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to provide a brief update on our ARPA-funded projects and to seek your guidance as we look to make strategic adjustments in response to actual spending trends. Joining me this morning is Diana Veloz, our Community Planning Administrative Director, who has been deeply involved in the implementation and oversight regarding ARPA funds. A quick background. As the board may recall, my first presentation regarding ARPA funds was back in December 2nd, 2024. We were under a tight deadline. The challenge there was to obligate all the projects, all the funding by December 31st. So I'm happy to announce that the allocation of those ARPA funds for the state and local fiscal recovery funds was fully obligated, and the $41.5 million awarded were past the deadline. I mean, we made it through the deadline of December 31st. Now we have another deadline to focus on, and that's December 31st of 2026 and September 2026 for Title I and transportation projects. So we all were well now into the expenditure phase. To date, around 70% of the funds have been spent. As you may recall, this spreadsheet, column G is the last board meeting. All the adjustments, what the board approved, is in column G, and column H is showing us the status as of today. Column I right here is the actuals. That's what we spent to date, all the invoices that have been processed through financial services, and this column just shows the progress of each project. Overall, in average, it's a 70%. Considering our portion here of revenue loss. I want to talk a little bit and focus on this column right here. So as expected, some projects, mainly projects that are sub-projects to the middle mile, the broadband project, are going to come in under budget. We have this line right here, technical consultant and other legal, and the FT program manager that are going to come under budget for approximately $100,000 each. We have some savings down here too, $10,000 for surface slow flow crossing. I believe this is Antelope Las Palomas project, and Highway 95, $12,000. Moving on here to revenue loss, we also have these projects. We have completed the maintenance of effort, and we have completed the historic documents preservation project. Rest of the projects are ongoing and are pretty advanced, I believe. We have spent $31.2 million out of the $41.5 million that we are supposed to spend. That leaves us with available funds of $233,589,000. In addition, the county has accumulated approximately $788,739 in interest earnings from the investments of ARPA funds over time, which takes me to the next tab. If the board has no questions on this tab on any specific projects, on any specific percentage, on how the projects are going, I can answer your questions, or Diana can answer your questions.
Mr. Chairman, Roberto, do we anticipate any of the other projects coming in under budget?
As of now, just these two right here that have this amount. So this one, the FTE, and the technical consultant. Other than that, we are not anticipating any other project coming under budget.
And on the Orange Grove Rancho Mesa Verde sewer system, I thought we had allocated more money to that.
Sienna can answer
Was
that.
it USC money?
Don't tell me because of the grant.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The Orange Grove Rancho Mesa Verde project, we did lower that amount because we lowered it at last. The last time we updated you in December, because of roads, because there's 2 roads out there that are not paved.
Oh.
And those roads, they would not be able to be paved with USDA funding, the entire road. They're only paving a portion of the road that's going to get tore up and the line's going to go in there. So that's why that amount went down a little bit.
But
They're all getting sewers, right?
but it was sewer, not roads.
Yes, but in the actual sewer portion,
That's in the.
they bore just, you know, a certain distance, and that's all that's getting replaced back is what they bore. So there's 2 roads out there that are not paved as well. So we were trying to get the final plans for those roads to be paved because we're trying to look for grants to pave those roads as we're doing the sewer as well. Right now with the 1.3 million and the 500,000 that we have for NADBank, we think that's going to be sufficient enough to negotiate a cost with a consultant for final design.
Mr. Chair, we do have $2.2 million set aside in the upcoming budget for that project.
And I'm just kind of, I mean, we had designated, I think it was a lot more money than that. I mean, I'm thinking it was like 7 million or $5 million.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. We have set aside $7.3 million, and that is not part of the final design. That's for construction. So the construction of the project does have $7.3 million that you all set aside in earmarked for that project.
So that's still there.
That's not part of this 1.3 million. Yeah, not from ARPA funds, that's from your special revenue fund.
But that was from the ARPA funds. When we got this money, that was part of it for that money was designated for that. I'm just kind of.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. So Humberto's predecessor, he put that funding towards the maintenance of effort for the jail, and whatever and whatever was left over there was put into the special revenue fund. Your savings from the maintenance of effort went to the Orange Grove Rancho Mesa Verde project, and that is because we have to meet the deadline of December 31st, 2026. If you don't meet that deadline of expenditure, you're going to lose those funds. So that $7.3 million is not tied to ARPA funds now, which allows you to go over that deadline of December 31st of 2026.
In other words, what the operation there was, instead of using the ARPA funds, like tied up, like Diana mentioned, to that deadline, he moved it so we could use it to the maintenance of effort, and that money we were going to spend out of the general fund, the $7 million, that has no restrictions, it's more flexible, was allocated to the Orange Grove project, so it wouldn't have that. It would have that flexibility, and we can spend it over the deadline of December
Mr. Chair.
2026.
Mr. Chair, they just swapped.
Yes,
He swapped it so that we would meet the deadline.
that is correct.
Okay, so the money that was set aside for the jail is now for the
For the
sewer,
Orange Grove
and
project.
what was set aside for the sewer is now being used on the jail.
Correct.
Got it.
All right.
And we've applied for grants for the roads from where?
We are applying for, we haven't applied yet because it's not available yet, but we're working on it with NADBank. So
Okay.
NADBank is the one that has what's called beef money,
Yeah.
border infrastructure money, that we're working on it to been working on it for a few years, but it seems like they might have money available for those roads.
So they started the design? Have we started it?
The RFQ went out already. We're actually in negotiations with the most qualified consultant right now. We don't have a cost estimate yet. We're still waiting for that cost estimate, so we should have something by the end of this month, and we should be coming to you next month to award that for final design.
Oh.
Oh, okay. When you're done with that, item number 29, natural emergency management, that was supposed to be like a double wide? Was that the one that?
Yeah, for the building.
And we still haven't found one?
Yeah, it's already done.
It's already in the process. It's not in a trailer anymore. It's actually going to be a building out there at Public Works. But we did, that's not necessarily pending. That should be ongoing because we've signed contracts for that already. That's
Okay.
probably a mistake there.
It was just pending, that's why I kind of look at it.
It's ongoing.
Okay. It's an ongoing thing.
It is ongoing.
Okay, good. I was just
And they've started on it already, yes.
Let me remind everybody that this is in a deadline. You gotta spend this money before December 30, 2026, which it comes back faster than most people think. So we gotta get going with this stuff. Otherwise, we're gonna have to either return it or pay it back. And given the current considerations of the Trump administration, you may have to pay it back. So just use it up.
I think we're in a good position where our projects are, like Beto had mentioned, we're 70% completed with our expenditures. I think we're in a good place.
I think so. I think we're in a good spot, but I just want to remind everybody, let's not wait until like next year and to figure out, okay, well, we haven't done this and we haven't used this. Let's use it up as soon as we can.
Maybe get some contingencies.
Yep, yep.
You know, what can we put it to if we need to
Well,
at moments?
I was mentioning, Mr. Chairman, that we moved 2 million from the broadband, and we might be short on the mesh network for completion of that. And so I'd like to set aside the money to be able to complete that project, the interest and or any of the available funds. We moved $2 million out.
We had a
of
deadline
broadband.
on December 21st to come up with the project. We may have already passed that.
The
Good thing is that it's already a
news,
project.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the good news regarding that broadband middle mile, it's an ongoing contract, which means it's already obligated. And we're adding 2 change orders to that contract. So it's not a new contract that we're, that we have open. It's change orders to the contract.
Maybe I may need a little clarification. Is the mesh program the agricultural thing?
Yeah.
Power system?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. We took 2 million from the original broadband network and we reallocated it on other projects. All I would like to do is take the interest that was mentioned plus whatever's left over, because it's estimated we might be short about $2 million, and look to scrape together every penny that we can and put it towards the completion of the mesh network. There are a couple of roads or a couple of access points that we needed to add to it to expand
I
the
think
mesh
what we need
network.
to do is connect it to the middle mile project.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
that is. Yeah, 100%.
Mr. Chairman, supervisors, we have to connect it to the broadband middle mile. It can't be the wireless broadband.
It can be the tower system, that's what I'm saying. It has to be part of the middle mile project.
The actual income interest, we spoke to our consultant last week, and he mentioned that the interest
Can be used.
would be able to be used with any other New York contract.
Just to mention as the mesh project, they say it's an amendment to the tower. Middle mile project.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want to be short on that and not be able to complete all the towers.
Say that.
I agree.
Good. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, are we short on the actual wireless broadband, or are we short on the middle mile project?
Both. Access points.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, Supervisor Lyons is correct. Both those projects could use a little extra funding. So my my suggestion with the interest and this 233,000 is to direct that it be used for broadband programs. That would include our middle mile network and the agricultural towers network. Depending on how the numbers shake out on either one, we could move that money between the 2 projects.
Knowing how government works, it'll be sucked up really quick. So don't worry about it. I think we're going to be short there. So if I mean, that tower project, that mesh project is becoming a big project. I mean, it started off as a project that the state was gonna pay for. And then it became a project that wasn't full, so we had to add money to it. And now it's becoming a project that's gonna be short.
Well,
$2 million.
where we're short on that is the access point of our middle mile.
So we're gonna take this as a middle mile project. spend it
Yes.
as a middle mile.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
Good.
Which is already an approved project.
And Mr. Chairman, on that towers network, when we applied for that grant, I believe at the time Paul Brierly with YCETA had estimated about a $9 million need for that build out. We got 6 from the governor's office, so there is a bit of a gap
Yeah.
there.
Got it. I have no problem with that. Just don't mention it as prior, that's separate. Just say this is a middle mile connection project that we're spending.
Broadband.
Broadband. It's a broadband project, connection project, an amendment to the broadband contract. Connect.
Members of the board. Treasurer, it is a middle mile project because it's
Okay,
part
got
of
it.
All right, any
All
other
right,
questions?
no other
All right,
questions.
Thank you, Dan.
Just following up on the deputy county administrator's comments. This is the tab that Diana and I were working on the staff's recommendations. So up here we have 2 funding sources available, ARPA funds and interest earning funds. This is the amount that we're estimating is going to be from the savings of the projects. Labeled in green, I'd like to call it green money. Green money doesn't have as much as flexibility. It's tied up to the restrictions of the program. And blue money is a little more flexible, as Diana mentioned. We can use that for general fund. In terms of expenditure limitation, this is an exemption. So if we spend this money, it doesn't play into the expenditure limitation calculation. And based on that, we had these 2 recommendations. Allocating the $233,000 to the middle mile project from the savings up here and from interest earnings, $92,000. Why this amount? Well, this amount is something we figured out on some meetings with the deputy county administrator that they need to continue the project. Obviously, they mentioned this is not solving the entire funding issue. And then the other recommendation was a broadband consultant services for $173,000, also from interest earnings. So with that, we conclude our presentation. If you have any additional questions, we are able to answer. But again, we're seeking the board's guidance on how to allocate responsibly these resources and to meet that deadline of 2026.
Let's begin by saying that whatever you guys have decided to do, which in terms of reducing the deficit that we have on that, it's okay with me. So.
Okay. I'd like to make that motion, though, that we dedicate that towards the middle mile and the mesh network as appropriate between those
second.
2 for the completion of that. And if any other funds become available,
Need to make that project a whole.
yeah.
I'll
Can I
second
mention
that.
one other funding source that we have available? So right now, the broadband middle mile, the O&M of that is we're getting some funding in for that. Right now, there's only about 35K in there. That is considered program income. So your program income does have restrictions to it. We have to make sure that we spend that program income before December 31st of 2026. If not, it has to go back to the treasury. So that 35,000 that we have in there right now, we can actually put towards that middle mile project as well. And as we're getting money in, we're going to have to spend it by December 31st of 2026. Anything you receive after that Yuma County receives after that, is your money. We do not have to meet federal guidelines after that date.
What happened to the 520, what is it? $22,000 that's remaining. What happens to that? Do we have to find someplace to put it?
Yes.
We'll reimburse. We'll put that back into that project, yeah.
I mean, I don't have any problem putting it back in the project. I just want to know that it's legally able to. Are we legally able to do that? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
We have 2 options there. Option number 1, like Supervisor Lyons mentioned, we can redistribute it in the list of projects we already have, or we can spend that money in another project. We just have to follow ARPA guidelines.
After our last meeting, Mr. Chairman, I believe that we discussed 2 additional middle mile assets that needed to be added. Three, sorry, messed up. So we can first look at the completion of the middle mile with the original ARPA stuff, and then we can finalize the mesh network and look for additional grants. I was also contacted
Connect the mesh network.
by the new USDA director, and she wanted a list of our priorities for the county. So I'll meet with her next week so that we can determine if we are able to seek additional funding. I was also going to mention the road for Orange Grove to see if they have any assets available for that, and then finalizing our USDA just because there's so much nationwide interest in seeing that project completed.
So we're okay with the recommendation?
I made a motion, we accept the recommendation.
I made a motion, she made a second.
Right, fine.
So there's a motion and a second to accept the recommendation from staff.
Is it B,
On-
discussion
on
on
A.
the budget adjustment?
No, it's on presentation
A.
ARPA projects. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Nothing here for the courts, is there? Oh, she warned us now.
All right, moving on to special session. The board opens each of the following items separately for discussion, possible action. Item number 1, all special taxing districts.
Morning, Chairman Porteous, members of the board. I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking.
He said morning.
Good morning, Ian McGee, County Administrator.
This morning, I'm pleased to present the final budget for Yuma County for fiscal year 2025-26. And as you know, this is a budget that is responsible, fiscally sustainable, and representative of the goals outlined in our strategic plan. So today's agenda, brief overview presentation. There's nothing in here that you haven't seen before, so I'll keep it brief. After that, the board will hold a combined budget and truth and taxation public hearing, followed by adoption of the final budget. This chart summarizes all funds for which the county is responsible with final appropriations for the next fiscal year compared to the current year's budget. So overall, the final budget includes a 3.4% reduction to total appropriations from the prior year's adopted budget. Our main fund of note is the general fund. Revenue categories for the general fund are shown here. As you can see, there are revenue increases projected in state shared sales tax and county sales tax based on how we're trending in the current fiscal year, as well as for the state's forecast. As a rule, we always take a cautious approach to estimating our revenues. Here you can see our total general fund uses, including transfers out, which are expected to decrease by about 6.5% next fiscal year. The fund balances for the general fund are shown here. It's important to keep healthy fund balance in case of emergency or some unexpected reduction of revenue occurs during the course of the fiscal year. That way the county can continue to provide its much needed resources to the community. We're also again recommending a recession contingency for the general fund as a prudent approach to anticipate any potential economic downturn.
Good.
The final budget includes a net decrease of just over 22 FTE, full-time equivalent positions, from all funds compared to the current year. During the budget process, the budget review team evaluated requests for 28 new positions, and no new positions are included in this year's budget. The budget includes a 3% performance-based. Yes, sir.
Is there I mean, budget, but I mean, is there a grants-driven system that applies to when you're talking about FD, people who come to work? Because I'm aware of at least 2 positions that are going to be open in the health department. Are those not considered, or is that considered part of what we already have?
Part of what we already have. In fact, we're seeing a reduction, significant reduction in grant
So it's
funding.
not grant-driven, it's general.
And the reduction is not laying anybody off, it's just doing away with vacant positions.
Generally, yes, they are vacant positions. There were a couple of positions in health that those positions we found opportunities in health for them. They were at a lower rate, but we kept them employed. I don't know if I already said this. The budget includes a 3% performance-based increase in performance compensation as part of the compensation strategy that was just adopted by the board. This slide compares the proposed fiscal year 2025-26 tax rates to the current fiscal year. The general fund tax rate is the same as the current year, no increase. The recommendation for the library district is an increase in operations by nearly 1 cent, but that is offset by a reduction in the same amount in library debt service, netting a 0 change to the library's overall tax rate. The budget recommends the same tax rate for the flood control district, so overall, there is no increase to the combined property tax rate for all funds.
Good.
The board has a long history of approving a conservative tax rate, which you can see in this slide. The final budget includes the same overall tax rate for the 4th consecutive year. In fact, the board has adopted a levy well below the allowable amount for the past 13 years. And we're continuing that trend with this budget, which is the 14th year in a row.
I was here when it started.
Well, thank you. As always, I like to close with this graphic that illustrates what a typical taxpayer might see on their property tax bill. Even though multiple entities are listed on the bill, the only ones the county is responsible for are comparatively small. Mr. Chairman, that completes my presentation. I'd like to extend a sincere thanks to the budget review team. Each member devoted significant time to the process and developing the budget. The team at the Office of Management and Budget for all of their hard work. The county and court department heads and elected officials and their staffs for their contributions to the process. And of course, collaboration with the board with your guidance and feedback helped to make this a successful budget, bringing us to where we are today. The financial health of the county is strong. The budget is sound, fiscally sustainable, and responsible, and allows the county to effectively serve our residents, businesses, and visitors in the coming fiscal year while laying a secure path for the future. Budget Director Tony Struck is available to present the interactive budget spreadsheet and the long-range forecast if desired. But that concludes my presentation.
I want to highlight a couple of things in the budget. One is that all total, we have about 24% for emergency situations, including $5 million for a possible recession, which we had in the budget for like the last 3 or 4 years, I think. So I believe that the budget is a budget that prepares us well for any contingency that may happen next year. Because this is a very unusual, let's put it this way, this is a very unusual situation we face ourselves in at the federal level. So as the city made a point in their budget, you know, $70 or $80 million that they get is basically grant revenue. So the question here for the county would be, okay, how much of that is grant driven and how much of it can we lose because of policies that are in there? And I feel pretty confident we can handle almost anything that comes at the federal level. That $15 million plus $5 million worth of contingency is pretty good for a county our size. I've always felt very proud that every budget that it's ever been passed, at least from the Board of Supervisors that I see now, it's been a very conservative, very looking forward kind of budget that allows for a lot of contingencies to happen. I'm talking about PILT, I'm talking about some of those things that we don't really know what's going to happen to them. I'm talking about a possible recession, things like what's happening right now in the Middle East. They could change a lot, especially the fuel costs and things like that we have to be ready for. I feel pretty confident that the county has done a good job of predicting or trying to predict as much as they can what's going to happen in the future. And I would wholeheartedly support the budget as it is right now.
Thank you.
And once again, Ian, I mean, thanks for you and your staff, to the BRT, to the budget department, to the finance, and to all of the departments that have contributed. I know at the beginning of this fiscal year, or when we started talking about the budget, I called you several times or texted you you know, about being conservative because we don't know what's coming down. I appreciate that, and to all the departments that understand that, you know, but obviously, you know, we also did say we can afford 3% compensation to the employees. And one thing I would say, moving forward, we need to start thinking about reducing the amount of money from the PILT. Like, let's not depend on that. I mean, as long as we get it, we use it, but let's start maybe weaning off of it. So if it ever happens that it's boom, it stops, we at least it's not a big chunk. I mean, without, you know, I mean, I'm not expecting to do it within a year, but at least have that in our in mind that we can start moving out of it.
That's a good idea.
And that's one of the things that I did learn from talking to many other counties at the Western Region Conference, and a lot of them have expressed that they started, or some of them they're off of it. You know, they get the money, but they use it, but it's just
It's not part of the main
it's
budget.
not part of the, yeah. So,
Thank you.
so just something that we can start thinking about.
That, Mr. Chairman, that narrative is probably critical that we communicate that to the rest of the county so they understand that we offset a significant amount of money with the PILT going into the general fund. And there's not always that promise of, or the assurance.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the better you handle your budget, the more they look at it,
I know.
the more they cut off.
I know.
Mhm.
So I would suggest that we use the PILT money as contingency money and put it on, instead of putting in a recession setup, we put in a PLT
Yeah.
setup. So when we get it, and it goes into the budget, and it's still like 4 million.
There's something that can be
It's
done,
a trade that can be done.
but it's just something out for.
If you win yourself out of it, you will not get it. That's for sure.
No, you'll get it.
Oh, well.
I mean,
I love the optimism of the chairman when he says, if you
No,
win it
I-
out of it, you're gonna get it, because I know that we've been punished for our own success most of the time. This is probably the best run, to me, this is probably one of the best run counties in the state of Arizona, according to me. Very conservative, very tax conscious. But, I mean, every time the state looks at where they can save, they look at counties like us and say, well, they didn't need this money, so they take it off. So I'm pretty sure that the PILT money is something that we wanna sort of like, no totally win us off of it, but put it in a certain separate account, so that if it comes, and it adds to whatever security we have. But if it doesn't come, then we're not, like, we don't have some EFTs tied to it, is what I guess.
Use it on
It's like having the
buildings
HERF
and
money.
stuff.
I remember you being the mayor and I've been the mayor before. We know that we use the HERF money sometimes to pay for equipment, sometimes to pay for people. Having that tied up in equipment and people made it sort of like, okay, if we don't get it, well,
What do you do?
right, what do you do?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a very, very difficult balancing act, and I understand what the chairman is saying, but I tell you, when you do something like that, you just prove you don't need it, because you wean yourself off of it. And sometimes that works for you, sometimes that works against you. The best run counties end up paying for most of the stuff that the state saves. I don't like to be in that position personally, but I can understand the desire to wean us off of some of those revenues, because I just mentioned that. I mentioned that the federal government cannot.
Well, it's by either transferring it or it's the same thing, but I mean, at least we're not relying on it. That's,
I agree.
yeah, that's the.
Make it so we don't rely on it.
So. All right, any other question for?
I'll make a motion.
Remember, we got two.
Oh, we got a combined hearing.
Two resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't we need to have the budget and truth and taxation?
That was just, you want me to open a public hearing?
Okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead and open a public hearing. Anybody from the public that wishes to address, comment, seeing none, go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the board.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution number 2025-18. as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay. well,
There's a motion and a second to approve or adopt resolution number 2025-18. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Roll call?
Or I'll do a roll call.
So this is the roll call for Parks B only?
Uh-huh.
Yes. 2025.
Supervisor Simmons,
Aye.
Supervisor Pancrazy,
Aye.
Supervisor Lyons,
Aye.
Supervisor Reyes,
Aye.
Chairman Porches.
Let me think of it now. Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Is there a motion to
I'll
adopt
make this-
resolution 2025-19?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to adopt resolution number
Why don't we make it bipartisan?
2025-19. Roll call?
Supervisor Simmons,
Aye.
Supervisor Reyes,
Aye, may I, for a second, explain my vote? This is what you read in the paper. What you read in the paper is this is a truth and taxation hearing that increases the taxes, but we haven't increased taxes rate of taxes in 4 years. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a budget that was prepared with that in mind, not increasing property taxes. Now, it is true that we balance it out, but it's mostly because of new construction and an upside evaluations go up. And that is also by state statute. So it's gonna come to a point where we're going to hit that wall. I think soon, maybe a couple of years from now, where we're gonna have to ask for a waiver expenditure waiver because we're getting to that point pretty quickly. So I'll vote aye, but, we need to start looking at that.
Supervisor Pancrazy,
Aye.
Supervisor Lyons,
Aye.
Chairman Porches.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Desiree. Moving on to,
Were we in a special session?
oh. I'll go ahead and adjourn the special session and reconvene back into regular session. Item number 1, discussion of regarding legislative issues. Alejandro?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Alejandro Figueroa, Economic Development and Intergovernmental Affairs Director for Yuma County. Just a few changes on the stats for this update. This is probably the latest and the final numbers for the session. 220 bills have been signed and 139 were vetoed. Hopefully, the Senate and the House agreed to a budget and we have full running government, state government by the end of this month. So we can start in the next fiscal year with a fully functional state government. So on the evening of Thursday, June 19, the Senate passed their budget bills. However, the House has yet to pass a budget, and the two chambers have not agreed on a unified budget package. What drew attention was that after passing the budget bills, the Senate successfully moved to sine die, effectively adjourning their session for the remainder of the year. This action is significant because it puts considerable pressure on the House. With the Senate not planning to return in the fiscal year deadline rapidly approaching, the House appears to have limited options. They may be compelled to adopt the Senate's budget bills without changes in order to meet the deadline. This is an unprecedented move, and some have questioned its constitutionality. The key question now is whether the Republican majority of the House will challenge this action through legal means or proceed to approve the Senate budget bills as they stand and conclude the legislative session. We will continue to monitor the House's decision in the coming days. Now, some good news from the Senate's bill, or budget, I should say. They kept in the two of our top three budget requests were included in the Senate passed bills: $850,000 for waste tire cleanup and $1.3 million for the Somerton Bridge project. Although the US 95 repayment project funding was not secured this cycle, we will continue to advocate for it in the next budget session. Some additional budget highlights for Yuma. So include $3 million to the city of Yuma for Almeda, $750,000 for Amberlease Place, $1 million for county recorders operations, and $1.35 million for the University of Arizona's Yuma Center of Excellence for Desert Agriculture. Public safety and infrastructure improvements also received attention, with $8.5 million for Yuma State Prison, fire alarm upgrades, funding for police equipment, and $349,200 for the Congressional District 7 special election. Lastly, the Corps of Employer contribution was increased from 5% to 5.5%. I'd like to provide an update on several key bills we have been tracking for Yuma County. First, SB 1212, biosolids land application immunity. It failed to pass before the Senate sine die adjournment. We expect this issue to be revisited in the next session. Also, HCR 2021, the municipal food tax measure, passed the Senate this week and is now officially set to appear on the November 2026 ballot. For cities that have under 2% of food tax, they are able to increase their tax in the future up to 2% with a vote of the people. And then for cities that have a food tax over 2%, they are grandfathered in, but can never increase the tax again. Moving on to HCR 2002, relating to voting centers and precinct voting, also failed to pass before adjournment and is considered dead for the session. Just as a reminder, this ballot was a ballot referral that caps precincts at 1,000 voters, eliminates voting centers, and requires precincts only, and eliminates on-site early voting. The amendment to HB 2033, which dealt with instant solar permitting, likewise failed to pass and is expected to be taken up again next session. It requires municipalities and counties to adopt an online instant permitting process for home power installations by January of 2027. Finally, SCR 1008, municipalities, counties, both fee increases also did not pass and would likely return for consideration in the future. A referral to the ballot that would prohibit a municipality or county board of supervisors from increasing an assessment, tax, or fee without a 2/3 vote. Overall, several important bills did not advance this session due to the Senate's early adjournment, but many of these topics remain priorities that we will continue to monitor.
Alejandro, before you leave the state, when you put in dead, but you put in it in little, like, what do you mean? Did they sign die or did they motion to recess? Because
They signed died.
They signed died.
But some people say it's not constitutional, so I don't know what the court would say.
Right.
So
that's why the dead thing. That's why the dead thing appears in there, because you never know what the legislature, which you could say with certainty if the budget was approved and it's not, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I saw that dead thing with little things and I go like, well, is it dead or not? So
The speaker did suggest a continuing resolution, correct?
The House Speaker, yes.
Yep.
Yep. So they're working on it this week.
Okay. Let's not hope it's not dead. Dead.
Dead.
It's
Almost.
mostly dead.
Almost dead.
To
Almost
quote
dead. It just is almost
Princess
dead.
Bride, mostly dead.
Yeah.
As far as the executive branch update, Paul Briley was officially confirmed last week as the Director of Agriculture, which is an important appointment for our ag community. Similarly, Kim O'Connor was confirmed to a leadership role in the Department of Homeland Security. And although the Senate has adjourned, Karen Peters, with the Department of Environmental Quality, ADQ, still has a confirmation hearing scheduled for today. So, yes.
That's a dead thing.
Briefly on the federal side, on June 12th, the U.S. House passed the Rescissions Act of 2025 by a narrow margin. This legislation would cancel $9.4 billion in previously approved federal funding. These cuts include significant reductions to international aid programs, such as Global Health Initiative, UN Peacekeeping, migration and refugee assistance, and clean energy development. And on June 11th, the Senate Agriculture Committee released its version of the budget reconciliation package, which includes several key changes to SNAP, the federal nutrition program serving millions, including many vulnerable families in our region. States where counties administer SNAP will face increased administrative costs, shifting more financial responsibility from the federal government to counties and states. The Senate delays this change until fiscal year 2027, 1 year later than the House bill. The Senate also proposed stricter work requirements for able-bodied adults without dependents and adjustments based on state payment error rates, though it is less stringent than the House in some areas. Senator Ruben Gallego backed the bipartisan Higher Wages for American Workers Act, which was first introduced by Republican Senator Hawley and Democrat Senator Walsh, to increase the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour and allow the federal minimum wage to increase with inflation in subsequent years. Lastly, Congressman Mendoza reintroduced H.R. 3764, the death penalty for dealing fentanyl act. The legislation would punish a defendant with the death penalty for life in prison if convicted of selling or distributing fentanyl that resulted in death. And that concludes my presentation to the board, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions for Alejandro? Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you for all your work, Alejandro. You and Alexis have worked really hard this session.
Been an active one.
To make sure,
yet, so.
to make sure bills that didn't get passed or bills that did get passed, or making sure to amend bills so that they either positively impacted us or didn't impact us. You worked very hard. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, we're already working on the next session. Priority, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
I was on vacation. Oh, so we're not doing that. Okay. I don't have any, whatever it is.
When you were texting me, you were working.
I was a little bit. Yeah, I was.
Is there a?
Make a motion to go into executive session?
To go into executive session?
So moved. Or second.
I'm sorry.
Or third.
Jonathan.
There's a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Gotta take everybody out.
5 minutes? Nothing.
Met with Ashley Harrington, she's the AWC Chief of Staff. Attended the local Workforce Development Board meeting. Attended the Arizona County's Insurance Pool meeting where I was made vice chairman for a 2-year term. Our condolences. Attended CSA's County Managers Association meeting. Attended the groundbreaking ceremony for Bienestar Estates 12 Phase 2. Attended the Yuma County Chamber of Commerce Board meeting and attended Supervisor Simmons' monthly community meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, I gotta take it. You're gonna be my lucky brother. I knew it first.